Okay, different setup, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can tell me, right?
It tastes like water.
I gave everybody the... Hi everyone, we're going to be starting in 2 minutes. If you could please take your seats. Thank you.
Good morning. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the groundbreaking event here in Brattleboro. My name is David Handera. I am the Vice President for Stations, Facilities, Accessibility for Amtrak, and their Chief Accessibility Officer. Train stations are a front door to a community, and this train station that's here today, built back in 1915, is a front door. But it's the station that will be coming that will be an outstanding front door, a welcome mat to all the to the residents, to the passengers, to the visitors coming to Brattleboro. The project is going to include a 345-foot platform, 4 foot above top of rail. This will be Vermont's first high-level platform for level boarding. It does snow here, I've been told. The platform will have an electric snowmelt system, keep the platform free of ice and snow for safe boarding and alighting. We'll have LED lighting, we'll have railings, detectable warning systems, making this a very safe platform for all passengers. We'll have a new station building. Obviously, historic station building across the street. This building will have accessible restrooms. We'll have a space for a waiting room. We'll also have a space for our engineering team who will be based here, so we'll have a train engineer that's based in the station. And also finally, accessible parking spaces and path of travel to the station. When you look at this, a fully accessible and compliant station in Brattleboro, and that was what we were looking for. We couldn't not have done this without all the support at the federal level, at the state level, and at the local level, and most importantly, at the grassroots level from the community. I'd like to give a special shout out to Senator Welch for coming here today. I know how busy your schedule is, and coming out today, I can't thank you enough. This is an important event, as you well know, and it's your support that helped make this happen. We're also glad that Ethan Hinch can join us today on behalf of Senator Sanders. So thank you again as well for coming out. We appreciate the Senator's support. And again, when we look at the funding to make this happen, it starts with the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, the IIJA. And when you say, well, it's just a Jobs Act, or it's an Investment Act. So much more when you look at this from an accessibility standpoint. And can't thank you both enough for your support and supporting the act, supporting the funding for accessibility across the board. I'd also like to thank the FRA. We have Ed Pritchard, we have Kelly Lynch from the FRA today, here with us today, and they're our partners in all of our accessibility projects, helping us with managing the funding, managing the schedules, managing the program as a whole. Representative Burke, you've been championing this project since day one, and I know how much today means to you. And it's an understatement to say that means everything to Amtrak. NECR's Charles Hunter, thank you again. Again, looking back to 2018 when this project started and where we were and where we're going to be, the work that you and your team put in prioritizing getting us on this side with new track, it supports the whole program. Thank you. We also want to thank the Brattleboro community for the support of the project. John Potter and Patrick Moreland, thank you. They've been tremendous supporters in advancing this project. And this project will improve the train experience for all passengers. Emphasis on all passengers. I want to thank Peter Barafaldi and Enfield Enterprise, our general contractors who are overseeing the project here. And when you look at the amount of effort that went into making this project a success, we can talk about all of the work each of us did getting us to this point. But the credit's going to have to go to the contractor, all the subcontractors, the local trades that are here who are actually going to make this happen. And I know they're going to put their best foot forward to keep this project delivered ahead of schedule, no pressure, and on budget. I'd also like to highlight our advocacy groups. And I know we have representatives from the Disability Rights of Vermont here. And again, it starts with the grassroots. How do we get the community supported? Yes, we need it at the federal, state, local level, but we also need it at the grassroots level. So thank you for your support in making this happen. And finally, saving the best for last, I'm honored to praise the Amtrak team who worked hard to get this to where we are today. Ellen Pinnell, many of you know Ellen. Unfortunately, she can't be here today. She's sending her daughter off overseas to college. Otherwise, I know in her heart she's here today. Jane Brophy, Jason Abrams, Lonnie Murray, and a very big shout out to Bill Hollister. Bill retired a few years ago, but we knew you wouldn't miss this for the world, Bill. And I know you came out to celebrate this, to put a shovel in the ground. So thank you for coming out and all of your tireless support as we brought this project forward. Just a few things regarding accessibility. Since 2011, Amtrak has invested over $870 million making our stations accessible. It's a lot of money, but we have a long way to go. Today, we can say we have 191 projects that are accessible, 124 stations that are fully accessible, another 67 that are accessible, excluding the platform, but we have a number of platform projects underway. We'll have 70 projects under construction this year, and we're expecting to spend, being very frugal where needed, $165 million on accessibility today. So Amtrak has evolved in so many ways over the past year and past few years. And I will tell you, over the 7 years I've been here to see what we've accomplished in accessibility alone, it's tremendous. It's really a textbook case that we should write about the support that we're getting at every level and what Amtrak leadership has done in driving accessibility across its stations. I'm looking forward to the end of this project when we're all gathering here, not with shovels, but with scissors when we're cutting the ribbon on a new, accessible station and project. So I would like to turn this over to our to U.S. Senator Peter Welch. So if you could welcome Peter.
Thank you very much, David. It's really wonderful to be here in Brattleboro, gateway to all of Vermont, on this extraordinary day where we begin the first level entry Amtrak station in Vermont. Bernie can't be here today, but we're going to hear from Ethan, and it was great working with Bernie. Becca is working in Washington. We passed the infrastructure law before she got to Washington. Too bad, because if she got there a little sooner, it would even be bigger. All right. But she's doing great, and all of us, Bernie, Becca, and I, are totally committed to doing everything we can for the well-being of Amtrak. You know, one of the things I am questioned about by Vermonters a lot, why don't we have trains like we used to? I can't tell you how many people ask me that. And my wife, Margaret, her father grew up in Saxon's River, and when he was growing up, you could take like 8 trains a day from Bellows Falls to wherever, including Brattleboro. And the reason I mention that is that it's really possible to have train travel that is convenient and is integrated into our daily lives. And that was a fundamental part of what went behind passing the bipartisan infrastructure law. That huge bill that is providing $1.6 billion for 125 projects in Vermont. It's a commitment to the future. One of the things people also ask is, yeah, but when's it going to be done? The bill gets passed, they don't see anything happening. Well, I want to remind folks that at the height of the worst time in our history, the depths of the Civil War, that's when Congress decided to build the Transcontinental Railroad. Well, they decided to build it, but it took those guys in hard hats, in orange vests, who are going to get to work here pretty soon. They had to build it, and it took a while, because that idea of having this intercontinental railroad was passed by Congress, but then to build it, it was literally one spike at a time, day after day after day. And what we're doing with the bipartisan infrastructure bill is making that commitment, and then we're going to be building Amtrak, repairing Amtrak, improving Amtrak, one station at a time, one rail at a time, until it gets done. That's the goal. So when you see all of us here today, the result of a lot of cooperative effort, the federal government, and by the way, I want to emphasize bipartisan. You know, I don't care what political party you're in. You like good train travel, right? That helps all of us. Your kids can come home for the holidays. You can go down to New York or Boston and see a baseball game. I mean, this helps everyone. And it's good for the soul and good for America. So here we are, all of us, celebrating something that's going to benefit generations to come. So I am so excited about the work that you're doing at Amtrak. And the other thing that's so exciting to me, this, I don't know that you mentioned it, but it's going to have this beautiful artwork that is about the soul. It's about reminding us of the communities we live in. It's about giving us a sense of inspiration that together we can do great things when we share that journey together. So this is what is so inspiring about Amtrak. Everybody loves the idea of safe, convenient, reliable train service. And we've got a ways to go, we know that. But just like with the Intercontinental Railroad, it is one spike at a time. So here we are doing our share, where the work is going to be done. And then, as I mentioned, for generations, people are going to be coming here wondering how in the world did those folks back in 2024 decide they were going to build this facility as they're waiting for a train looking out at the beautiful river that flows by. So I want to thank everybody who's been involved. Because, you know, when we are taking our public resources, taxpayer dollars, and deciding to invest them in projects that benefit all of the public, what we're doing is making a commitment to each other. That when we work together, we make decisions together, we can all share in the accomplishment that goes with building up a strong community that's going to be here for generations to come. So thank you all very much for the great work and the inspiration that we need in Washington, that when you work together with the state, with the local select board who's done a tremendous job, with the local planning commissions, with citizens working things out, where with cooperation rather than constant confrontation, you actually get the joy of getting real things done. So let the building begin. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Senator. I'd like to invite Ethan Hinch to come forward, say a couple words.
Good morning. My name's Ethan Hinch. I'm an outreach representative for Senator Bernie Sanders. I know Bernie would have liked to be here today, but I thank you for the opportunity to offer a few remarks on his behalf. First, I want to offer my congratulations to Amtrak and the whole Brattleboro community on the groundbreaking of this new station, which will include Vermont's first level boarding platform, new station building, ADA parking, and bike shelter. It's no secret our nation's infrastructure is in poor shape, and until recently, the federal government has chronically underfunded its repair. Our economy, and just importantly, our people, rely on well-functioning infrastructure. Without it, towns and cities can't attract businesses, people can't get to work, municipalities can't deliver safe drinking water. As a former mayor, Bernie understands these challenges, and he's long been committed to securing federal funding to make these kinds of necessary upgrades. That's why he was pleased to work with Senator Welch and other colleagues to support the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which provided $66 billion nationally for freight and passenger rail and included provisions Bernie authored that would help Vermont access more federal transportation dollars. This groundbreaking is an important milestone in expanding and improving rail in Vermont. Senator Sanders looks forward to continuing to support federal policies and funding to build on Amtrak's and the Vermont Agency of Transportation's success in strengthening passenger rail service right here in Vermont. Thank you for having me today. On behalf of Bernie, congratulations to the Brattleboro community on this important milestone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. I'd like to welcome to the podium State Representative Molly Burke.
Good morning, everyone. This is a very exciting day, and I'm so honored to be speaking at this wonderful event and proud that this station is located in the legislative district that I've represented for 16 years. Way back in 2009, when I was a new legislator, Governor Douglas proposed replacing the Ethan Allen rail service from Albany to Rutland with a bus. This was quite controversial, especially in Rutland. Our Transportation Committee decided to investigate the impact of this potential change. We rode the train from Albany to Rutland, arriving at the Rutland station to a large crowd of rail supporters from the business community. Shortly after this, the administration announced that they were going to be shelving the bus plan. The Rutland business community got to the governor by emphasizing the economic potential of passenger rail. They spoke with a loud and influential voice. I speak of this now because it made me aware of the economic importance of rail and the importance of rail advocacy. And another reason I mentioned it is that on that trip, I had the pleasure of meeting Bill Hollister. Bill, now retired, was an Amtrak senior manager of government affairs for the Northeast, who accompanied us on that train ride. He's also a fan of Vermont, and he's played a crucial role in why we are gathered here today. It's so good to see you here, Bill. I recently went back in my email program to 2017. I found mail from Assistant Town Manager Patrick Moreland setting up a meeting with Bill Hollister to discuss Amtrak's plans for an ADA-compliant upgrade to the Brattleboro station. Several of us met with Bill in September of 2017. We discussed the upgrade and investigated how existing town plans for an improved Union Station fit into Amtrak's process and timeline. While Amtrak would be responsible for the platform, the town needed to pay for the interior of the station. Conversations, emails, and meetings continued through 2018. I was exploring possibilities for funding the town's share of the project because the cost was going to be significant. Then came exciting news from Bill in February of 2019. After finding out the cost of adapting the station platform site and moving an electrical pole, Amtrak decided to build us an entire station on the east side of the tracks. And despite some complications, here we are today. I've been a train enthusiast for a long time. For many years, I rode from Albany to Buffalo to visit my mother when she was still alive. And I currently ride the train down to Westchester County in New York to visit our young grandchildren. It's just the best way to travel. This new station will be a great benefit to the town of Brattleboro. We are the second most used station stop in Vermont. The new facility will attract more visitors, along with more local passengers. The Brattleboro Words Project art installation will find a permanent place, featuring literary history and current literary climate of Brattleboro. And it will mean that passengers, especially those with mobility issues, will not have to board those steep, unfriendly steps to get on the train. As an e-bicyclist, as well as an EV owner, I'm excited to hear about the installation of e-bike chargers and a fast EV charger in the parking lot. And I want to thank Senator Welch and our federal delegation for voting for the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which provide funding for this and many other carbon reduction measures throughout the state. These are transformative investments. There are so many others to thank in addition to Bill Hollister, other Amtrak personnel who've been so thoughtful, kind, and supportive. These include Ellen Pinnell, project manager and coordinator for Amtrak's ADA station platform, Jane Brophy, who's here, director of government affairs, Margaret Clark, who's not here, manager of government affairs Northeast, and others. Charles Hunter of NECR has been very, very instrumental in making this happen. And I want to give a shout out to the trans officials, especially Dan DeLabriere, the rail program director. There are a number, it's great to see a number of town staff and select board members here. And I also want to thank my colleague and friend, Representative Sarah Coffey, who's here, Chair of House Transportation, for her visionary leadership with many things transportation. And I want to acknowledge former Representative Kurt McCormick for his years-long advocacy for rail in Vermont. Kurt would always text me from the Vermonter when he passed through Brattleboro. Say, I'm here. Senator Wendy Harrison, whom you will hear from next, is a wonderful colleague and advocate for public transportation in the Senate. And I also want to recognize, I see a number of other colleagues here. Senator Nader Hashim is here, Windham County Senator, Representative Laura Sibilia, Representative Emily Kornheiser, and is there anybody else who I am missing? Anyway, and we have a great Windham County delegation and very supportive of rail. And we can show our appreciation for this wonderful gift to our town by planning trips by rail and encouraging friends and family to do the same. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Representative Burke. I'd like to ask State Senator Wendy Harrison to, if she'd come to the podium.
Thank you. I am so happy that we are all here today for the groundbreaking of the new Brattleboro train station. Public transit checks all the boxes. It's better for the environment, better for our physical and mental health, and better for our wallets. Trains reduce dependencies on the automobile and support alternatives such as bicycles, walking, and buses. Transit that connects housing, jobs, schools, culture, and recreation reduces the cost of living for individuals, and it also increases the economic and social vitality for communities. Transportation has always been fundamental to economic growth. Our state rail plan calls for more station improvements and increased service. If you could take a train from Brattleboro to New York and be back the same day, we'd see even more folks relocating to Vermont. Both older and younger people particularly value places with access to transit. Being thoughtful about the entire passenger experience will help us continue to increase ridership. It will also connect us to our past when we were less dependent on automobiles and were better served by passenger trains. I'm proud of Vermont in how we both respect history and look to the future. Here in Brattleboro, we did not demolish the beautiful historic train station that provided a top quality passenger experience. Now we will have that again in a new and modern facility, while the Brattleboro Museum and Art Center continues to thrive in the historic station building, which is right next to us, to my left. If you've been in the current station or worked there, in the basement of the old station, under the Art Museum, you know how important it is that this new station happens soon. The new station will be a huge step forward with a modern waiting area, restrooms, a covered outdoor area, and modern office space. The boarding platform will be raised to the level of the inside of the train. This means that passengers will be able to move between the platform and the train without climbing up or down steps. This is required by the ADA. It's especially important for people with mobility challenges and families with kids, but I'm sure that all of us will appreciate the safety and the convenience of level boarding. We will be saying to each other, mind the gap, before we know it. This is a great day, a day to celebrate, a day to recognize our shared commitment to each other, the environment, and the economy. A day to celebrate an effective partnership across all three levels of government, federal, state, and local. And a day to look forward with optimism to a new heyday of passenger train travel in Vermont. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. I'd like to turn this over to Charles Hunter from Genesee, Wyoming Rail.
Good morning. I was last here for a great function about 12 years ago. We had just completed our high-speed rail project on the New England Central Railroad, where we installed welded rail. We're upgraded to handle heavier freight cars and increase Amtrak passenger speeds. And I believe, Senator, you were probably here for that one. So it's great to see other projects that come along and build upon the successes that we've had working with the Federal Railroad Administration, VTrans, and the federal delegation here. When the project first popped up here and was talked about moving the station over to the other side of the track, that presented some challenges. Safety is the most important thing we do at Genesee and Wyoming and New England Central. So we really did not want to have passengers boarding and deboarding here and crossing tracks when you would move the activities over on this side. So when Jane and Bill came to me and said, we need to try to work together to solve this problem, and we got our real estate people involved, we got our engineering people involved, and we were able to come to a mutual solution that works for everyone by utilizing the track on this side, which was rebuilt last year. You'll probably notice. We'll be able to do all the boarding and deboarding on the track on this side of the station. So that's a big win for safety, and that really shows how we're able to work together to get things done. You might see the signal just south of the station here next to the railroad track. That's centralized traffic control. Our train dispatchers are in St. Albans in the American Rail Dispatching Center. So they actually dispatch the Vermonter from the state line up to St. Albans currently. And with a project we just finished with Amtrak and the Federal Railroad Administration, we were able to extend the centralized traffic control system from the Mass-Vermont border up here to the north end of the siding. So the trains coming and going through here will be dispatched from St. Albans for safety and operations. So really appreciate everybody's working with us, and this is a great project. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. And I'd like to invite Brattleboro Select Board Chair Daniel Quip up.
Good morning. It's lovely to see you all here. It's a beautiful day in Brattleboro. I'm glad that we don't have the precipitation and tornadoes that we were promised yesterday. This is a wonderful project that you've heard so much about from my colleagues behind me. I don't need to give you any more details about it. This is going to be an inclusive, inviting, welcoming project. It's going to be featuring artwork by our community members that tells the story of our community. And really, that's why I'm here today, to represent our community and our town government. I do want to give big thanks to Patrick Morland, our assistant town manager, who's been involved in this project for quite a few years, I think, Patrick, really since its genesis, perhaps. Yeah, 7 years. As a select board member, I serve a certain term. I'm coming up into my 6th year on the board. And so I've seen this project from kind of rumor through to some small decisions that we've made to some slightly bigger decisions. It's not just the select board, it's the representative town meeting, it's our community members that express their opinion, and it's our community members that are involved in the project. There are people here today who've worked on committees that have had involvement in it. It is not a one-person job at all. And so it's a really wonderful day for Brattleboro. I'm hoping that we can get to lemonade and cookies very shortly after a ceremonial groundbreaking. And if you're new to Brattleboro today, I welcome you. I hope that you have a great time here, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you. Now that concludes all of the presentations, but the one common theme, this would not have been possible without the support of federal, state, local, grassroots effort, and the city, Brattleboro residents, and grassroots efforts. So I can't thank everyone enough for taking the time out to come out to this groundbreaking, the start of construction. And again, we're going to do a ceremonial turning of the dirt. We'll get some photos taken. And again, we're going to mark our calendars. We're going to come back when this project is done. No shovels. We're going to bring scissors and cut a ribbon. Thank you.
We'll know who doesn't actually know how to use a shovel.
Molly's probably better.
David, somebody's got to be in charge here. Tell us
All right, you ready?
What are we doing?
We're just going to gently tilt back,
Okay.
lift the dirt.
Okay. You got to give us the signal here.
Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, lift.
All right.
Turning. We're turning.
There we go.
All right.
Very good.
Yeah, one little turn of dirt. And it begins.
Did you start? It's helpful.
Yeah. All right. Take a picture. We'll stand and look at the camera.
Yeah, it's between Saxon River and Wells Wells. And I'm wondering if that's one of the. Yeah.
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 So, I mean, that really makes it convenient.
Yes, totally. Right, and that's how we can get rid of it.
All right. We done? I think we're
Thank you so much for making it. Yeah, really
Yeah.
Channel 5, local NBC affiliate.
Thank you so much.
Could I grab you for a second? Yeah, why don't I grab it?
Thank you so much.
Senator, thank you. Can we get another shovel full with Senator?
Get up here, Murray.
Just another, one more shovel?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Putting it on each other.
Lonnie?
It'll be cheaper for the contractor if you dig more up.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna stand over here.
All right.
I like your comment.
This is all too familiar to digging weeds out of my garden.
They're very good. It's a good cup. Okay.
My wife's going to be like, that's the only time I've seen him on the shovel in about 2 years.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's very definitely.
Kelly? Ed?
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Eddie Rickard. Yeah, Peter Welch. How are you? Thanks for making this happen. Well, everybody, you know, it's what you're saying. It's everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Come on, Toad. Come on. All right. Wherever you want to.
It's all right.
All right.
Do you want us in?
Got what you want?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I think that is an extraordinary achievement to be able to solve this problem. You know, those
So it's going to cost us $1 million to bury those holes. It is. We didn't know if Courtney would approve that. Their colleague oversees our program, and my presented to her and said, well, we're going to spend $1 million just to take some poles out and put some lines underground, and that does not include any of the improvements. I think she would have objected.
Well, those are the high.
That makes sense. Trying to incorporate modern codes and requirements into a town that's been here for hundreds of years. Modern amenities.
You know, I can't compete with them. Yeah, I mean, it was so burny, you know, that was COVID. Inauguration. And so we weren't even able to rail together. So it was like a kind of grumpy burny sitting up by himself in his own, and completely oblivious to the media sensation. It was pretty cute.
I'm the Senior Director for Amtrak's ADA Stations program. We are responsible for making stations across the country compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
I'm Ed Pritchard. I work at the Federal Railroad Administration's Office of Civil Rights, and we kind of oversee the programs that they do here at Amtrak and work with the accessibility of the stations and things like that. My name again? Oh, Ed Pritchard.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Great. Hi, I'm Kelly Lynch. I'm an Equal Opportunity Specialist in the Office of Civil Rights, Federal Railroad Administration, working to make sure that stations are accessible.
Hi there, my name is Allison Kilbride. I'm here today on behalf of the Agency of Transportation, the state of Vermont. We're very excited to have this project underway. We're excited to have an innovative and beautiful new station prepared and being ready to be built. So thank you so much for having us today. Thank you. That wasn't that bad.
So here we are at the Brattleboro train station groundbreaking. It's a wonderful day for Brattleboro. We're going to have a fully ADA compliant, inclusive, accessible platform that goes the full length of the train so people don't have to climb up and down to get on the train. It's going to be heated, so in the wintertime people don't have to worry about tripping, slipping, falling. And it's going to have artwork from our Brattleboro Words project folks on it. So it's going to be a really wonderful thing for people coming here and for people to return to here.
Hello, my name is Peter Barafaldi. I'm the project manager for Enfield Enterprises. We're on site here in Brattleboro constructing the new level boarding platform and station building. Thank you for coming.
So I'm Cynthia Parker-Hote, and I was asked to make a mural for the Words Trail. And I'm super excited that it's going to be installed here at the Amtrak station, thanks to Lissa Weineman, who had that. She was the visionary who's like, hey, let's do this thing, and made it happen. But I made the mural.
So it's done?
The mural is mostly done. I still need to make a few more portraits. It's hard to figure out who to represent and who not to represent. So it's just like a sampling of all the many writers.
And where it will be in the new building?
It's going to be like out on the platform, like as you look out on, like towards the the art museum, it'll be there. So in the art museum, you can look this way and you can see the mural.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you did great.